Hello, welcome to my channel Conscious Growing. I'm Matthias. And today's title might sound like a provocation, but I want to explain a little bit what I mean by telling you your worst days are your best days. And I want to explain it as simple as possible, and this is going to be a short video today. So, if you are dealing with chronic symptoms, anxiety, unexplained symptoms, then you already know that this journey is full of ups and downs. And if this is the first video you're watching, I want to encourage you to watch the video from yesterday. And I was explaining the pitfall of recovery. And so when I talk about this saying, or when I mention your worst days are your best days, it means that this is a natural ongoing process. Means you have these symptoms, you have these blocked emotions, suppressed emotions. Then you start to work on yourself. First you understand maybe why are you having these conditions. You build up some knowledge, and then based on this knowledge you make further steps, and these further steps are trying to implement them. And so there are many things that are still led by our subconscious, by our scared brain. So we start to build new pathways, and we start to take care for ourselves. We start to nourish ourselves. And then in this process we experience all kind of moments and days and periods. And of course, when we have these better periods, when we have less symptoms, there is something in us that might celebrate already and might say, oh, maybe this is the end of this illness, maybe I'm gone through it, maybe I'm on the other side. And then we maybe kind of celebrate this. But then when symptoms come back, and when they come back in a very intense way, then usually we are shocked in the beginning because think, oh no, this can't be true. I'm back to square one. What have I done wrong? And all these questions come up again, and then rumination comes back, and then trying to find solutions, and all these patterns come back instead of, okay, I just allow them. And not only allowing them, also see what I can do in the present moment. What am I able to do for myself? How can I nourish myself? How am I able to allow the unpleasant sensations? How am I able to continue with my life? And so on and so forth. And sometimes, and this seems to be the nature of the subconscious, I would describe it as the subconscious is trying to test you. It's not only trying, it's testing you. And so when you had these good periods and then all of a sudden symptoms come back, it all depends on how you respond to your symptoms. And it doesn't mean that it's enough to be neutral. It's also really you have to be willing to feel unpleasant sensations and unpleasant emotions. And the more we are able to allow them, the faster it happens that our nervous system feels some safety, because we care less, and so we are not in this alarm anymore. And I'm not talking about only talking about freaking out less. Freaking out less is a beginning, for sure it is, and the less we freak out, the better it is, because the more we give a safety feedback to our nervous system. But then the next part is really to be willing to allow the sensations and to kind of being patient with yourself. And patience means, okay, sometimes these emotions that come up underneath the symptoms, they can just sometimes last for a couple of minutes if we are able to identify them and just see them for what they are and just let them be there and allow them to be there. This is one thing. But then on other days, it can be more intense, and we can really feel in this strong grip of symptoms and sensations and emotions. And these periods can sometimes last more than a day. They can last 2 days or a couple of days. But these periods are so important because here it decides how do we make progress in recovery. And yeah, the most extreme example is to freak out, of course. If we freak out again and again when we experience our symptoms, then of course this is a clear feedback that there's still a threat, and our relationship and our response isn't in the best way. So I really want to point out that this is not about, we don't need to be perfect in it. It's not about that. It's just like how much we are able to be with it, to allow it to be there and let it pass. And even I made a few videos about letting go, even physically establish some awareness of letting go the jaw or letting go the body as good as possible, because these are all messages of safety, because we don't react with these old patterns, and this creates some safety. And after all, this is what it's all about. We want to create safety within ourselves in the here and now. And the more we are able to stay present with whatever happens, the more we open up for ourselves, the more we can let go of these old emotions that don't serve us anymore. And we don't have to understand them. We don't have to figure out anything. We're just there, and we just observe their appearance, and we create the best open space that's possible, and to let go these emotions. And the more constantly we do this, the sooner it will leave us, because then at a certain point, when the subconscious understands that you are able to stay present in whatever happens, and that you are even able to keep going with your life, then it is clear that these symptoms, they lose their importance, and then they will subside. But this is a job we have to do. And so, coming back to the title, the worst days, your worst days are your best days, means this is time to practice. Because when you feel well, it's easy to come through the day. But when you have stronger symptoms, stronger emotions, then it decides which direction recovery takes. Because when you think you're back to square one, then you give the information to your nervous system, we are back to square one. And even this very thought can influence the nervous system already. And so what I'm saying here doesn't mean that you have to be so cautious with all your thoughts. The thoughts come up, and we allow the thoughts to come up. We don't try to fight them. They are there. They are produced anyway. But The only thing is, the only question is, are we getting involved, or can we just see them and let them pass? And learning to care less. And in this practice, when we learn to care less, we give this message of safety. We are present, but we don't care as much as we did in the early stages of recovery, maybe. So in other words, the difficult days are the opportunity to practice. And the more we are able to be soft with ourselves, stay present, the more the ship can take a new direction and it will work for us. And it needs some kind of effort in the beginning, but the more you get used to it and the more you starting to having some sort of new control to your momentary situation, the more fun you will have again, and you will see that life gets easier and there's less sensitization because you fight less. And these are circles, and these circles will repeat. So again, every so-called setback is an opportunity to practice, because we don't need to understand the subconscious and the functioning of the subconscious. It might come back and might scream loud after a very, very good period. As I said, you might feel recovered already, but then all of a sudden it comes back, hits you, and there it decides. And even if you had already, if you had like 20 or 30 or 50 cycles, it doesn't matter. It can feel like in the very beginning, but this is just a bluff. It's just a bluff of the sensitization. And the more you can have this attitude of, I'm moving forward, I'm coming back to a difficult moment, but this doesn't mean I'm back to square one. I move forward as good as I can. And that's all. As good as we can. And will be enough. And the more you are prepared for these cycles and these difficult periods, the stronger you get. And the less you care, the stronger you get. And even more, these cycles, these difficult moments, they will be shorter. But also it can happen that you have kind of, let's say, 2 or 3 easy setbacks, and then you have a good time, and then it might come strong again. But even then, it's the same attitude is asked. It's like you're as loose and limp as possible. You allow as much as you can. You give yourself the direction you want to have, and that's all. That's all you need to do, again and again and again. This is a practice. And then the sensitization will lift, and it will lift you, and you will have moments where you see all the work you have done, all the progress you made, and you also will honor that these difficult moments were the most precious ones on your recovery journey and the most needed. And there will come a time when your nervous system feels safe again, because you have shown the way, you have practiced to be present and to be indifferent in best case. And then at a certain point, when you have gone through these cycles, your system will understand and it will trust you, and everything will come down and you will be able to be more relaxed again and participate in life. And it might seem like that was just a bad dream or something, and you practiced in the right way. So see that you don't get triggered by your nervous system. It's just sensitization. It's really unpleasant at times, but it's not dangerous. And even take this to account, because then you will have less fear about the state you are in. To understand why are you there is so important. So I hope this short video makes some sense, and I hope you can get something out of it. And yeah, subscribe the channel if you like more content like this, and also any comments are welcome like always. And yeah, send it to someone who might just need to hear this today. And yeah, I wish you the best on your journey, and I will come back soon. Bye for now.